besides the obvious heartbreaks and unloving, unclean, hedonism-based, lust-seeking instead of first life commitment, I'm offering 5 unusual reasons why to avoid premarital intimacy. Starting with, number 1, you might not be able to enjoy your favorite food or clothing or venues or activities anymore because you shared them with someone and now they all remind you of that person, and all these memories feel like a burden, and you might not even be able to go to your favorite venue or wear your favorite clothing anymore because of all these shared experiences with your ex. Number 2, if you have more than one intimate partner, you'll inevitably start making comparisons and thinking of other people and their relationships, and then it's called an addiction to novelty, where it's just like how people are always wanting maybe the newest phone or car, which isn't useful. It's an addiction. Maybe it's not the worst addiction, but when you're addicted to it in terms of people, then you end up objectifying people and saying, well, I wish this person was more and more and more of this, instead of just figuring out who you are and just deciding and focusing on a list of, okay, realistically, what do you want? And then preparing yourself and not wasting your body and your time and your money and your passion on anybody else. So it's this addiction to novelty. Men often end up wanting to just chase women, but they don't get satisfaction out of wanting to commit. And then women they give up their body and mind, and women are more meant to be in their feminine, so they kind of want a guy to lead, even if they might not admit it. And they end up just, after a number of breakups, they end up not being able to do that anymore. And so it becomes hard for them to be feminine and create a fun marriage where both people really want each other. So neither of them are either able to love and commit to one person or even want to. And so number 3 is this idea of that it's anti-feminine. So basically, the woman actually suffers a lot because all of this premarital intimacy is about the woman not getting her fair side. She doesn't get the commitment, but she has to give her body up. And she doesn't really have to, but she chooses to. And feminism, quote unquote, encourages all of this. But it actually is anti-feminine, ironically, because it has nothing to do with the woman treating her body as the most valuable thing. It makes it seem like, makes women think that, the money they make is the most valuable, more than their body, more than their ability to be a mother and have a sacred womb and be able to, make food for their husband and family, instead of the husband and family having to get teachers and go to restaurants and have other people clean and make their house a home. So, and then number 4 is that you can't be in the energetic frequency of love if you're engaging in premarital intimacy. You have to be in the frequency of, I'm trying to be the most attractive. I'm hoping this person will want me. I've got to seduce them and, trick them into liking me. I want to trick them into changing so that they'll like me. Like, all this stuff it's unscientific. It is not a realistic list of, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want. Wow, look at that. And it's not based in reality. All it's based on is temporary emotions. And so the conclusion is, and that's actually only 4 points, but the conclusion is that everything from not being able to enjoy yourself anymore because you shared it with that person, and now the foods and the places you go all remind you of them, so you got to change that. Number 2 is that if you're making comparisons between people and you get addicted to novelty, and that it becomes difficult for one person to love the other person. And men and women might brag that, oh, I can get anyone I want, but can you keep them? And do you even want to have one person who you can always trust and rely on, which subsequently creates stable families and the ability for people to trust each other in general, that they're not trying to seduce each other's brothers and sisters and everything. And then number 3, that it's actually anti-feminine, because it makes the woman give up her body without a commitment, which makes it so. And this is, of course, affects the man just as much, because he's giving up his time to a woman who he truly, and his money to a woman he truly doesn't, want to, is truly not, loving. And then number 4 is this idea of that you can't be in the frequency of love, because if you are, then you'll be able to feel love, feel the love of your self-love, feel the love of not worrying about having to attract someone, because you know who you are and you know the person you want, and you know that you wouldn't want to have to force them to like you, or that they're going to like you and your body and your style for who you are. And so there'll be no conflict. And although I talk about this masculine and feminine, the real issue is that there won't be any fights, because you see each other as equals. You have the same goals, regardless of maybe whether the man or the woman is one's more masculine or feminine, or whether they both are breadwinners or whatever it is. So there you go. Some unusual reasons that it makes sense to avoid premarital intimacy, along with the normal things like that it's unloving and it's unclean, STDs, and that it breaks apart families, and it statistically creates heartbreak. The lowest breakups are when two people in a religious context who both don't want premarital intimacy get married, and they are both have never had intimacy before. All of that adds up to not being distracted by everything else, and just being able to have a stable and loving life. And that is the prototype for the family structure and society at large. So if that fails, then what's the point of living at all in this human experience? So let's get back to that, guys. We can do it. We've done it before in the past, and we're going to do it again. Thank you. And by the way, bonus idea: don't feel so worried about all the economies and the world being in a volatile situation, because this is the exact moment that people start questioning their ideology and their religion. Even people who say they're religious, they engage in premarital intimacy. So this is going to help people question, what's really wrong. And I think this is the fundamental issue that's creating distrust in society. So thanks for listening. Aloha.